Every journey begins with a first step. For us, that first step was taken months ago, when a guardian rose to challenge the Witch Queen in her throne world. Step by step, obstacles were overcome until we came face to face with the Witness. And today, that final obstacle will be overcome as well. It begins where the Lightfall melee-only video ends, just prior to the launch of episode Revenant. I had decided to wait and see what the new episode would bring before beginning the run. I wasn't expecting anything special or groundbreaking, but holy fuck! Stasis Glaive alert! So, I then proceeded to wait several weeks for this new Stasis Glaive to become available, and only then could I truly begin. Transmigration, the first mission, begins simply, with me proving once again that drinking and flying is not a recommended idea. Rockin' 3 glaives, I begin making my way through the portal into the Pale Heart. The first run-in is with these taken, getting us used to the mechanic of mixing light and dark. So far, things feel easy. Though I'm working off some rust, the Glaive Karnstein Armlets combo has worked for this long, and I don't expect anything to change anytime soon. Slay Queen. I take the traversal slowly, working my way through the new armies of the Dread and the familiar Taken methodically, taking down barriers and enemies alike. The first true encounter begins with this rally point. And it's here that I begin to struggle. No, not with the enemies or any kind of mechanical issue, but from range. I can't reach this node from the platform. There goes Flawless. So I run it back for round 2, and try a few different things, before remembering that I do have a powered melee, which also didn't work. Would you believe that using my well, by accident, is what I managed to do to make this work? That's not what I had in mind when I said it was an allowed super, but technically fits in the rules, so I'm not going to argue it. From there, we continue trekking onwards, running into our first instance of these prismatic shielded enemies. Fleeing from them leads us into the next locked pathway section, where I start using Winterbite to surprising effect, up until we need to break the pyramid seals yet again. As my high school band director once told me, it's time to hurry up and wait. Alright, and further onwards we move, jumping, finally, into the threshold.
It sees us! It sees us! I cannot hold this any longer! Guardian, go! Go!
We do some weird hopscotch. Honestly, these boxes are way too big to be challenging at all. And we're finally into the Pale Heart proper. Clambering through what is honestly one of the sickest transitions that the Bungie art team has ever pulled off. Absolute kudos to you guys.
I am placing blocks and shit.
Unfortunately, as much as I'd love to stand there and stare, I'm a man on a mission, and into the Lost City we go. I pull off a classic melee-only maneuver that I like to refer to as tactical running like a bitch, and have a little too much fun with how effective Winterbite's melee seems to be. I stand in the prismatic thing for a long time because I just don't see the enemies that I assumed had to be there, but actually using Transcendence gets them to spawn, and now I feel silly. I do a lot of Winterbiting and climb higher into the next encounter, where I do even more Winterbiting. My first death also happens in the same vein as the vast majority of my deaths in this game, also known as falling off a ledge. And wouldn't you believe it, the second one is exactly the same. If it keeps up at this rate, I'm going to start getting flashbacks to the Calus fight in Lightfall. Luckily, I managed to at least clear the first of 2 wizards in this section before the next time I am unceremoniously dropped off a ledge. And it only takes me back a few seconds, instead of forcing me to redo it from scratch. Also, based on this mission, Winterbite's melee attack just absolutely cooks. This shit is insane. Watch how fast I melt this boss. Blam, blam, blam. And now we're off, heading into the old Vanguard Command Center. Finally receiving Prismatic. Cool animation and all, this shit is dookie. Fuck man, where's all my fucking healing? Guess we're sticking with Solar. Born to Nova, Forced to Well, all that. I want to be clear, I gave it a good shot. I just couldn't stay alive at all. And the Transcendence Grenade, replacing my healing nade with one that just does damage, kind of messed me up. In this first showdown with the Subjugator, we start to see a recurring theme of this run. It really isn't the boss that gives me a lot of issues. It's these goddamn Grams. They are everywhere. Luckily, Winterbite is still cooking, so after a few tries and some time needing to recharge my controller, I take down the Subjugator and hear a strange noise. I gotta say, this cutscene, art. The way he can tell we aren't Crow from our footsteps, the subtle sound effect of the harmonica as it flies through the air, the fact that he acknowledges that Crow has a ridiculous haircut.
I like Crow's haircut.
Oh, you fucking would. And with all that, we've finally beaten the first mission of the final shape, melee only. In between, we do some chatting with Cade and then Ghost, and then we're off to find good old stupid haircut Crow. That's what we used to call him in high school. Have I mentioned recently how much I hate Tormentors? Because I do, a lot. Like, a lot. But we knock him down, do the classic go 3 places and do something 3 times, and holy jeebies, that is a big fella. It's time to introduce him to my good pal, Black Talon. Fuck him up, fuck him up, fuck him up. At the start of this mission, and for a little while longer, I tried to make a good go of build variety. You know, as here I've got the necrotic grips on instead of Karnstein armlets, just for some, spice. And this does work, but only when I decided to use a technique that I haven't had to use since the Heinen era, and just pull out Lament to tear this guy to shreds. I then forget how to use World Line 0, and immediately switch back to Lament because I'm stupid. You can tell I haven't played this campaign since launch because I know a boss was going to spawn in here at some point, but I popped my well immediately in the hopes that it would just show up and I could clown on him. This mistake cost me in the long run because I am crazy cooking with Lament, so just holding on to my well until the boss spawns should, and my controller is dead. God damn it. That's awkward. Like I was saying, holding onto my well until the boss is actually spawned lets me beat the damn thing into submission with no issue. Now we get to talk to the witness. What a guy. Let me just say right now, being 100% honest with you, if the witness had offered me Marasov, this campaign would have played out very differently. Just putting that out there. And say what you will, the witness is doing a great job with these statues and shit. It's really nicely framed, the composition's real nice. Crow, what the heck? You good, buddy? Oh, I missed the trigger. Hang on. There we go. And that's the second mission of the final shape. Melee only. We sit through some more yapping, talk to ghosts, listen to a radio, and blam! Mission 3. We're off to find Ikora and convince her to do her Ikora best. That, of course, requires murder. So I get to doing it. Doing some whacking, and relearning this mission's mechanic. We clear some foliage, witness a murder.
Luckily, she's got the 2 sharpest hunters in the system to back her up.
Oh, yeah. And when do they get here?
And do my best impression of Kabir from Destiny Rising. After finishing my Captain America impression, and getting an idea of why Cade and Eris don't get along too well,
Fire. And then apologize to Eris later.
I do some more slapping in an attempt to convince myself that Vex Caliber is a usable and viable weapon in this run, and no, its exotic perk isn't underwhelming. I then spend way too long trying to do this really simple puzzle, because I'm stupid. And I proceed without caution into the next area. We find a crashed ship, I accidentally skip way past what I'm supposed to be doing, and need to backtrack to grab the shield again. And here's where the true issue with the run starts. I give it the old college try, whacking and slashing this ogre with a shield, but to no avail. The shield will only break the ogre's immunity with its super ability, meaning that I need to use that to proceed. With any luck, that should never be an issue again. Well, shit. This encounter took me a while, mostly with my need to attempt to convince myself and the hive around me that this Necrotic Grips Vexcalibur combo was viable and usable, by eventually switching to the superior Edge of Intent. God, I never thought I would say that. I managed to get through this with some superior tactical thinking and a lot of mashing of the melee button. After that, it's just a quick tussle with some of the witnesses' new forces, which seem to tear through me like paper for some reason. I get to yet again sit here and throw Powered Melee after Powered Melee at a Tormentor for 10 minutes. only to die right before the finish line. 10 minutes later, I can show the Tormentor the ancient dance of my people, and I finally meet up with Ikora, and she yaps some lore at me. Unfortunately, I am not a nerd, so her theories in science mean nothing to me. Look, here's a dead man. I don't think she took that too well. To be fair, I probably would have decked him, so, props to her for being civil about it. I think it says something that Cade's idea of heaven is free from paperwork, and we could all learn something from that, I think. Mission 4. I have finally conceded that the necrotic grips just weren't doing it for me, and I switched back to the good old armlets. This mission mechanic is doing Vow, which I was never good at. You're sitting here watching a certified well bitch and certified div bitch, at least up until div was nerfed within 2 months of me finally getting the damn thing. So mad about that. Finally had an excuse to do really bad on the DPS, and they just What was I doing? Oh yeah, child sacrifice. Nope, wait. Genocide. Yeah, that works. I cook with Winterbite, open this big-ass door, which, awesome door by the way, putting one of those in my office if I ever win the lottery, and proceed to my personal hell for the next hour or two. Nothing says easy for a guy with super limited ranged options like trip mines, exploder shanks, and another goddamn tormentor. In the end, my solution to this problem was to very slowly remove any of the trip mines as necessary, using a caster frame sword to eliminate those and the exploder shanks, and then going so far as to temporarily switch back to necrotic grips, because there are very few adds after a little while that Karnsteins would benefit from. And then I sit in 2 or 3 places that hopefully the Tormentor couldn't grab, like this place where you put the rally banner.
I'm in danger!
After 27 minutes, this final successful run made it through. Finally beating mission 4. Wait, what do you mean that's not the end? I'm going to commit crimes if this keeps up. Luckily this one had no tormentors, just a giant-ass brig with 2 immunity phases. And a subjugator. Eventually I returned to All Reliable, the Lament, just to rip them to shreds in the rare event that I could stay alive. And like Cade said in the previous mission,
Can't be efficient, be persistent.
so Zavala has a bit of a schizo moment there, based. And then Cade plays the harmonica. Again. Time to take a break. Hold on. Pause. Time out. How does he do that? Do exos breathe? Crow is clearly also having a crisis over this, and has decided to face it in the same way I want to. I need like an hour-long lore video on this. Life? How does he play the harmonica? I'm also very entertained that they're just folding chairs here. Like, I wonder if the Traveler made those, or did the Vanguard, pack them? Also, where's Zavala's ship? Oh yeah, we're in the middle of a mission to stop the apocalypse again. Probably should get back on track about that. But first, I'm gonna laugh at Cade continuously making Crow feel very bad about killing him. Alright, mission 5. Time to mountain climb. No, not like that. I'll be real with you, this one just kinda happened. There's some funky waterfalls, some Cade-Crow bonding, and Winterbite just kind of rips through this encounter that I remember being a lot more difficult. But maybe that was the co-op version you gotta do to get the big trace rifle? I don't know. But this big Taken guy doesn't have a name on his health bar. That's neat. Oh, bonding, heart-to-heart, secrets revealed. Whoops. That's what I get for trying to get a good camera angle. Oh, the Vex are here. Yay, this is so exciting and fun. I'll be real with you, I think Episode Echoes has just firmly, very firmly, made the Vex incredibly boring to me. And for that reason, I just do not care about the start of this mission. Cade's a good robot man. He gets it. The theory and reasoning behind a lot of this stuff can wait until the necessary whacking is done. More Winterbite being literally awesome. First try, baby. I needed that after the last mission. This was very cathartic, massive melee brilliance. Really let me blow off a lot of stress here. Ah, we're back to climbing. Look, I can see the portal from here. And now I'm lost. Oops. Whee! Oh look, my ship. This next encounter goes pretty well when I remember that dying is not really a productive method of problem solving. And then we're on to the next segment, walking back through a familiar place. It's powered melee time, baby. Talk about a Captain Mustang build. Eat your heart out, Season of the Haunted. Ogres, Thrall, Captains, no issue. Oh snap. Oh, we're done with Mission 5. But now, for the obligatory part of the campaign, where we go explore all of the lost sectors, and then do a strike. But first, family drama. Mommy and Daddy are fighting. This reminds me of my childhood. Oh, that one might have been too dark. Ah, whoops. Time to spin away my emotions. Whee! Time to go meet one of my new best friends.
Can you believe it, guys?
Luzaku is not your enemy. Luzaku.
Woohoo! I am so happy about this information.
Oh, lore stuff happened too. Didn't care about that. Strike time. This time, instead of doing Vow, we're doing Warlord's Ruin. And on to Mission 6 we are. Gotta go find Zavala. Once again, I try to convince someone that Vexcalibur is a viable option for survivability. Targe says he has an idea, and I also have an idea. However, mine does not seem to be working this time, so we'll try it your way, Ghosty Boy. Of course, this brings me into contact with one of my arch-nemeses, a Shrieker. Almost as bad as jumping puzzles, those things. This one does not go well. Only up to the point where I finally stopped trying to convince myself that Vexcalibur is useful, and then I blast through it pretty easily. My attempts to sacrifice fallen children don't seem to be working as well as they did during Beyond Light, so I continue onwards in the hope that Targe's solution will bear fruit. Not that that really stops me from offering a statue a smaller or two, just in case.
This is the last time I let him walk away from me.
I mean, yes, technically true. Whee! Sometimes my brain cells do the equivalent of just spinning in an office chair, and I have no choice but to comply with their demands. Okay, that was a pathetic death, man. What the hell? This next segment takes longer than I would like, because somehow, even in a video game where I am not physically present, my whiteness makes itself known, and I am just unable to jump. I was actually dreading this specific encounter, because I remember it did not go well in my original run through the campaign, but apparently I am just built different when doing challenge runs, because this was first try. I guess that it helps that the Tormentor spawns in with the shoulders pre-popped, but yeah, GG easy, no re.
Even if that isn't the case, you don't have to know your guardian by his light.
My ghost is kind of an insensitive asshole, TBH. I'm proud of him. The Fanatic-lookalike fight goes pretty well here. I do need to stop and infuse some higher light stuff into my armor and swap around some pieces so I have actual stats, instead of the poopy doo-doo water I've been running so far. But once I switch to the Lament, it is literally over for these fools. They just get absolutely clowned on. Demolished. Who knew a fucking chainsaw sword would be so effective on flesh? Then Zavala does something funky, and I want to be absolutely clear that this man is a massive hypocrite, because he bitched at Ikora for doing the same thing in the Witch Queen. What a whack-ass rave. I could get down here. What do you think their music sounded like? My bet's on this.
I see what you are. What do you see? I see
A little bitch. Did Targe ever talk before the final shape? Is this like Rohan, but like moderately better because we hypothetically knew Targe existed, and Zavala threatened to shoot him at least once? Beats me, but that's what I'm thinking about rather than interacting with the touchy-feely emotions happening here. Look, a sword. Chat with Ghost real quick. He's got the feelings as well. Shit. I need to go commit some recreational murder to deal with all these feelings. Luckily, I have a sword and a witness to beat up. I abandoned all of my tactics from up to this point to equip the sword, and still just managed to throw myself off a ledge. Multiple times. Swords don't proc the Karnstein armlets, which feels a little bit silly to me, but goddammit, there's another Tormentor. Why is it always Tormentors? This one takes a few tries because the combination of a Tormentor and Grims plus multiple ledges is a combo that is custom designed to personally screw me over. Luckily, I can continue to abuse the Transcendence Rift thingies, and combine that with my newly acquired Throw a Lot of Fireballs super, and eventually the fucker goes down.
That riddle, what was made can be unmade.
Also, what the fuck do you mean this is a riddle? What was made can be unmade. That is a direct statement of fact. That they're straight up telling us that we can rip the witness to shreds, and these fuckers think it's a goddamn riddle. Moving past my annoyance at their ineptitude, this just brings us to what I like to think of as one really long and annoying roadblock. No, not this subjugator or even the ogre boss that follows him, but these stupid knights. One shot in a well, and there's like 6 of them you gotta deal with. They're only supposed to be an issue if you're in melee range, which is not an issue for the vast majority of smart players. However, I'd like to remind you to just take a quick peek at the title of this video. My whole thing is being in melee range, and boy do these fuckers love to punish that. It wasn't actually much of an issue in the first of these 2 encounters, because I managed to dodge the slams by being fast enough. But for the ogre encounter, oh boy howdy was I taken down to Cleveland via the Pound Town Highway, and from there I took the ferry over to Assbeatville. To make this even worse, this is the second of 3 instances where we are forced to use the Vogue shield, specifically the super, to burst down the shields of an immune enemy. Overall, this was probably my 4th most awful hour of playing Destiny that I've ever experienced, behind only my day 1 vow attempt, my legendary melee-only Calus fight, and something you'll see very soon. Eventually, finally, I managed to make it past the encounter, and now we're en route to the end. The confrontation against the Witness. And believe me, I've got a bone to pick.
To receive glittering rewards, the commendations of your peers, triumphant accolades for all to see. We offer you an escape.
Nice try, idiot. Nothing's getting me away from the loot grind. I've got a goddamn addiction.
It offered me the Awoken Throne, a kingdom all my own, my sister's love.
I am just saying, if it had tried offering what it offered Crow, things might have gone differently.
How is your sister?
Nice. All that's left now is to ascend, to reach the ritual site, and to unmake that which has been made. But first, face. Do you think they'll succeed? You know us. You know we will. Yes, but I am allowed to fret when one of us faces down the Witness. Especially after they... We don't talk about that pair. Else these dark timelines will not come to pass on our watch. And this one seems more persistent than most. It doesn't go well. Whatever I thought was difficult about encounters before this was nothingness compared to this. For hours, I relentlessly threw myself at the Witness, hoping, praying, that something I did would change this fruitless outcome. I cycle endlessly, trying tricks and tactics developed through the hours of challenges leading up to this. I channel the power of the Traveler to harm, to heal, to burn, to protect. I tug on the strands of darkness that surround us all, trying to untangle myself from this weave of fated doom. Time after time, nothing works. For a moment, I give myself to hopelessness, and begin to ponder what it would be like to take its offer. To be a godslayer in service to the first knife. To know riches beyond compare. To have power unlike anything I could have ever dreamed. And there, at the edge of despair, I am reminded of words spoken to me not long ago. You can do this. Technically, you already have. And I know that it is time for my secret weapon. Ergo Sum. With the combined powers of light and darkness, through Ergo Sum's flaming blasts and the freezing strikes of ill omen, the Witness's minions begin to fall. In what must be recognition of my fate, the Traveler grants me the one weapon that can rend the Witness from itself. A facsimile of my own blade, made of pure physical light. I embrace the darkness and begin to tear the Witness apart from the inside. Piece by dissenting piece. I pull out the final piece of the puzzle, Rake Angle, which I waited for so long. The Stasis Glaive keeping me in the fight by activating the latent power in my gauntlets. Swapping back and forth depending on what I need. The knowledge that I can do this, that I have done this, drives me forward. The second subjugator falls. I take up the sword again, and I deal another blow to the Witness, freeing the voices that have been trapped for a millennia. And then another, which is enough to split the bonds and damage it. Once again, a god bleeds at my hands. It's not enough. Not yet. But the first knife is chipped, and soon I will shatter it. All that is left is to truly unmake the Witness, to channel the unrelenting power of the Traveler and rend this false god asunder. And to best do that, I need to call in some backup.
Are you recording?
I am recording. Who's that guy?
Their courage bought us one last chance.
I forget how good of a job he does, because I just play this on silent usually.
Yeah, no, Keith David is so
Oh shit, look at all the promotional material.
That dude's voice is
Mommy?
Will face
Nimbus?
Daddy Shacks.
I love how Savathun just shows up.
Elixni.
Like
doesn't bring any backup. She's just kind of here.
And she didn't even
Mommy.
say, like, during the mission that we help her out, she's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna help. Like, not even a little.
I think it's very funny
And then
that
shows up anyways.
Drifter is the one who's in front for humanity.
I like that the hive is just a pan to Savathun.
It's like, what's up, bro? It's witness time. I love the part where he says, I'm witnessing.
Fellas.
and
Melee
witnesses.
only. This is it.
This is for all the marbles. Just the one really big one, actually. Scurvy!
Oh, I just have. That's right.
Where is my pirate ship? Oh, hi, Luzaku.
Luzaku the gold.
Can I still use my super?
Yeah, which one is
punching.
it? Yeah, then you're fine.
Oh, what?
You can use your super, but only the melee part.
Well, it's a thunder crash.
Wow.
I'm diving in the air and I'm punching them. That works, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've argued that cars are melee attacks, so I'll give it to you.
That cars?
Okay, well, that's one boss down.
Yeah, I said cars. Because, right, the argument was that melee attacks have to be close range attacks made with a weapon, right? And I would argue that vehicular manslaughter, like, requires a very close range.
I mean, yeah, no.
You gotta hit him with it.
Oh.
It's called hitting him with a card, not shooting him with a card.
Tormentor.
Someone teach Mithrax Strand. Do it right now.
Vanguard Command, we're closing in on the Witness now. This is it.
We are the first knife.
You're the first bitch.
Here we are, baby.
We are
It's the dude. It's the guy.
Melee only witness.
Stop using your guns. Random people I don't know and can't talk to. Hang on, gonna...
Yo, text to the chat. Melee only. You won't.
Melee. I can't text to the chat. Speaking Japanese.
Okay, now that I can transcend, I can just use concentration over everywhere and just win.
That's why I did this on a warlock. It's way funnier.
Somebody pop us on the shoulders?
I can't pop shoulders. You're the big sword.
Just like the last time, Guardian. Just
Yay, a
join the
melee
statue.
ability.
I love when the mechanics are actually melee. Let's go beat him up, guys.
Alright, guys.
Ah.
It's caster thing.
It's caster frame sword time. Get his ass. Get his ass. I'm doing next to no damage. This is phenomenal. Guys, we're playing Rift. Melee only. Caster frame those guys. Eat them up. Oh, goodbye, Cruel World.
Now, does this count as a melee?
I think the Traveler said this one was cool, so I'm gonna... Just gonna not be a problem with it. I can't get up. Come on, big guy. It's not Chaos Reach.
Yeah, okay.
It's like something cooler.
It's the Traveler's Light, big dog.
Same thing. But it looks just like the house. Arc Warlock the best.
Hang on, I gotta punch him. I gotta get there. I don't care about the helm. I want my pirate ship back.
Oh.
I need a cool ass pirate ship. I need to go hunt down Spider and get my pirate ship back. The Witness is dead. While I know in the future there will be more troubles to come, more gods to slay, more foes to punch, today, Soul is at rest. For now, this is the end of the melee-only saga. But do not think you've seen the last of me. No, rest assured I will return, ready to conquer those who would stand against me, in the most brain-damaged way possible. But, if you've enjoyed, this was a total labor of love, and I would love nothing more for you to just leave a like, a comment, or a subscribe, and stick around if you're interested to see what comes next. But that's all for now. Until I see you next, have a good one.